there's a super fight about to happen and no one's talking about it. No, I'm not talking about Spence versus Crawford, which I think we all know has gotten its fair share of media attention. I'm talking about Stephen Fulton versus Naoya Inoue, a fight which produces a great matchup and on paper, some of the best fighters in the sport going at it. Stephen Fulton daring to be great in this fight, going over to Inoue's home country of Japan to fight. No one's talking about this fight when this should be talked about close to or even as much as Spence vs. Crawford. Here are some of the things that we can talk about this fight. Inoue coined the monster. I believe Mike Tyson said Inoue is his favorite fighter. 24-0. 21 knockouts. He's been a pound for pound great for the past, I believe, year or so. Been in the top 3 of the pound for pound list, everyone's pound for pound list for about a year or so now, maybe even a little more than a year, right? Undisputed at 118. And of course, the reason we don't really know about him is he's fought limited times here in the United States. I think he hasn't fought in the U.S. since 2019. Yeah, 2019 he hasn't fought in America. Right, he's signed in top rank. So a lot of people don't exactly know about Inoue, right? Even though he's one of the best in the sport. He's not fighting at these huge weight divisions that garner a lot of attention, right? But he's moving up now to 122. And if your nickname is the Monster, then you're pretty tough. Like, we know that. He's going against Stephen Fulton. Fulton, who is an absolute technician at boxing, a master of his craft, 21-0, 8 knockouts. He just outboxes people. He puts on amazing performances in the ring. You know, he hasn't fought since June of 2022, but he's daring to be great, saying, you know what, I'll go over and I'll fight Inoue when no one wants to. I'll go fight him in his backyard. I'll dare to be great. I'll cross the promotional streets because Inoue's top rank, as I mentioned, Fulton's PBC. Fulton said, I'll make this fight. No one wants to fight you over there. I got you. You're coming up to 122, my division. I believe Fulton has 2 straps, 2 belts at 122. I believe there's 2 fights on the line, 2 belts on the line for this fight. So I assume they are both Fultons. He said, I'll put it on the line. I'll come fight you. He was working on a rematch against Brandon Figueroa, who was a really good fighter. When they last fought, was a majority decision for Fulton. Really good fight. No one would have been mad at a rematch with Figueroa. When Inoue announced, I'm going up to 122, Fulton said, yeah, I'll go be great real quick. Let me go make this fight happen. Originally, this fight was going to happen back in May. It would have been about a week or 2 after Davis versus Garcia. We got back-to-back mega fights, right? But an undisclosed injury by Inoue pushed this fight back a couple months, right? So now we're getting not back-to-back fights, in weeks. We're getting basically back-to-back super fights in a matter of days with Inoue Fulton, Crawford Spence Crawford coming right after it, right? Another reason no one's talking about this fight, well, because it's going to be taking place in Japan, time zone. So when this fight is happening in Japan, it will be 3:30 in the morning here in America. You can watch the fight on ESPN Plus at 3:30 in America, or if you want to get a couple more hours of sleep, there will be a replay of the fight happening at 8 a.m. on ESPN Plus. I'll probably do the 8 a.m., but that's another reason we're not hearing about this fight when we should be, because this is what boxing is all about. This is what daring fighters to be great. Because not only is Stephen Fulton going over to Japan, Inoue's taking this fight. He could have taken a lesser 122-pounder, welcome to the division, try and get his footing. He said, no, Fulton's one of the best of that division. Bring him over here. As he should, because Inoue is the A side. Of course, I'd love to see Inoue come over here and fight in America, gain some more popularity. But I'll tell you just how popular Inoue is, or how big boxing is. Stephen Fulton gets off the plane out there in Japan, swarmed with media fans out there. They know how big of a fight it is in Japan. But here in America, we don't. People don't even know who Inoue is, who is a beast, right? Here in America, people don't understand how big this fight is, which is a real shame because if you look at it, a reason for that being is Stephen Fulton comes from Philadelphia. Well, there's a Philly fighter getting talked about a lot in boxing. And spoiler alert, it's not Stephen Fulton. It's Jaron Boots Ennis. And that's no problem. Jaron Boots Ennis is amazing. I did a whole video, a preview on Boots' fight. He put on a heck of a performance against Roy Maivia. But it seems over here in America, we want to pick one person to champion. So people championed Boots as the Philly fighter. Fulton's just as good. Boots will tell you Fulton is just as good as him, right? But fans want to say our Philly fighter is Boots. So that's another reason this Fulton fight isn't as huge. And of course, they're younger guys. Stephen Fulton, fighting at different weight divisions. They haven't fought competition to build themselves up as big name fighters, but that doesn't matter when this is a super fight. We both know how great these fighters are. Inoue seems to be knocking out anyone in his way. I believe they fought in a tournament out there in Japan. A lot of Japanese fighters. In this tournament, Inoue had a decision win to win the tournament with I believe this is how it goes. He won the championship. He made it to the final of the tournament. Beat the guy who I believe was favored over Inoue. Beat him, but it was a decision win, right? Inoue said, that's not good enough. We'll fight him again. I believe he knocked him out in the second round. His nickname's the Monster for a reason. No, I'm telling you, everybody needs to be locked into this fight. I know not everyone's going to stay up or wake up at 3 to watch this fight. Watch it at 8 o'clock, man. This is a fight you don't want to miss. The one thing, I'll give you a little breakdown of the fight right here. Can Stephen Fulton, who I told you is a technician, but he doesn't necessarily have the power that Inoue has. We can tell by Inoue having 21 knockouts, Fulton only having 8 knockouts. Can Fulton muster up enough power to keep Inoue off of him? Or is Inoue going to say, oh, these punches aren't hurting me, and continue walking him forward trying to stalk Fulton, right? That's going to be a huge point in this fight. But heck, maybe Fulton doesn't even need the power. Maybe he just boxes so superior to anybody Inoue has fought, and it leaves Inoue kind of, swiveling his head, trying to figure out where is he? Because we know Fulton's a great fighter. He's not going to run out of gas. He's going to hit you from different angles. He's going to move, but Inoue can do the same thing. This is why this fight is so good, and it's a shame nobody's talking about it. These are really two of the best I'd say the lower weight classes, right? And when I say lower weight classes, I'm not talking about skill level. I'm just talking about the weight itself, lower than other weight classes. These are two of the best that could make a fight, and we're getting it and nobody's talking about it. So I just want to put you guys on alert. This is the super fight. No one's talking about it. We get this July 25th. We get Spence Crawford July 29th, and this one you don't have to pay, right? This is an ESPN Plus product because Inoue is top ranked. So this isn't a pay-per-view. So watch this fight and then go buy Spence Crawford. There's no reason to say, I don't want to spend my money for this one when this one's coming. No, you can watch this one, Inoue Fulton, for free. Watch Spence Crawford. You pay for Spence Crawford, right? This fight, if you're a boxing fan, tune into this one. If you're a boxing fan, you know about this one. You don't have to be convinced by me to tune into it. If you're not tuned in to Inoue or Fulton, tune into this fight. Because honestly, I really like both fighters. Inoue is just a hard-hitting kid who really seems to knock out anything in his way, like I had mentioned. And Fulton, great fighter, great boxer. Right, you'll watch this fight, and I guarantee you'll probably leave after the fight being a fan of both of these fighters. So make sure you go and watch this fight. This is the super fight no one's talking about, but it's one of the better super fights that we're getting this year. Inoue versus Fulton out in Japan, July 25th. If you want to stay up, 3:30, you can watch the fight. If you're not, replay at 8 o'clock over on ESPN Plus, man. Make sure you tune in this one. I'm sure there's going to be fireworks for this one. That's all I got for you. I wanted to let you guys know about the super fight no one's talking about. This is a Never Drop podcast. Make sure you subscribe, because a few days, like I mentioned after, we're getting Spence Crawford. And I'm going to be at Spence Crawford, getting video for you guys, putting out videos. I know you want to see what's going on at Spence Crawford, get my opinion on different stuff. Make sure you subscribe. That's all I got for you. Fulton Inoue, July 25th. Spence Crawford, July 29th. A great 4 days for boxing. This has been the Never Drop podcast. That's all I got for you. I'm out. Peace.